Kia ora te iwi and welcome to the 2025 Trans Tasman Test Series here at Ngā Punawai Sports Hub, an amazing facility in this incredible city, which is Tautei, Christchurch. Third day in a row of almost no clouds in the sky. Today being perfect with no breeze also, and we can see that as we have many of our spectators. You can hear in the effects, Mike, the Australian team absolutely celebrating their well-deserved victory. The Australian Open mix, we just seen them take out that series 2-1, Reece.
Yeah, a couple of key performers for me, and not only in the series but in this game. Riley Jones was outstanding. Zane Cox, Osborne, who I talked about, the leadership of Bart's. Prendergast worked well with Osborne in their pod. Jessica Potts, and I know you talked about her quite a bit, but another strong performance from this Australian side. 9 debutants at the Open level. They look like they've been playing together for a very, very long time. So a well-deserved victory in this Trans Tasman Series by the Australian Open mixed side. And in saying that, super proud of the way that New Zealand fought for 80% of that game. Just when it came to the crunch on the goal line on attack, it just wasn't quite there. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of reflection and review on this test series with the Open mix, but Australia well deserved in their win of the series.
Reece, we made a number of comments yesterday and today around the body language and the energy, the difference in what we've seen between Australia and New Zealand. This is the top event with regards to touch for the mixed grade. You play one game a day. Are we completely off the reservation with regards to thinking that was a key factor in these things? If not, how is it that a New Zealand team can allow that energy, that body language, to not be at least matching that Australian one?
Yeah, well, I went out onto the field after the game, and it looked like the Australian team, they could turn around in 30 minutes and play another game at that level. You know, they looked like they'd barely broken a sweat. They were full of running in that last 5 minutes, yet the game slowed down a wee bit with some gamesmanship and the like, but they just looked physically ready to go. Fast, not only the ability on the field, just their connection. I really like the way that they were connected right up into the start of the the start of the game, and at the full time, hearing them in their celebrations. And I don't think I've heard an Australian side in a long time celebrate like that when it's not been a World Cup, so it must mean a lot to them. New Zealand, conversely, will be disappointed. I know that, but they've played well. They've played well for 75-80% of their games, but against Australia, you've got to be tip-top. You've got to be 100% the whole time and to just give yourself a chance, and unfortunately we weren't able to do it.
So if we had the privilege next year of calling this Trans Tasman again, it'll be in Australia, so we won't. What is that one key area for you that New Zealand will need to make sure that they are fixed up between now and then?
Well, firstly, don't write us off, Maya. Touch Football Australia. Don't be afraid to bring over a little bit of culture to add some value. But look, we're in a World Cup cycle now, so I'm not too sure what will happen, But at the end of the day, it's a 2-win series loss. Changes might be on the horizon. We don't know who's been unavailable for selection. Obviously, Taute was a huge loss for the team, not only being a leader of the team, but her ability on the field and off the field. So, I'm not too sure. I do know that you've got to match Australia in the physical realm, being just as fit. I really like the way that we started to use our feet, went away from the sweep play, but started to run a lot more. Durban Burgess out of half and just trying to run as fast as he can instead of trying to pass for a lot of the set-up tries. So, I'm sure there'll be a lot of review, but, there's a lot of aspects of this game you need to nail, and unfortunately New Zealand couldn't get it done.
Alrighty, that's the mixed grade put to rest, and now we get ready as we anticipate what's about to happen in front of us with the Open women's teams. Australia having already taken out the series 2-0, winning the first 2 games. But for me, this has almost been the grade that I've looked forward to the most. After the first game, Australia threw that orange zone in the middle of the field. They were just incredible. And New Zealand, they come out with a game plan and they absolutely smashed it for probably 30 minutes of that game. And then Australia just again got that ascendancy at the end. But I'm really looking forward as to what have our girls come out with this time. Obviously they're going to add to that. They're not going to go away from that. What are they going to come out with this time? And that Australian juggernaut that simply doesn't know how to lose. What is this game for them? They're up 2-0. It's another series. I would never say that they're going to close up shop or put the cue in the rack. I imagine they're going to come out and go hard, but it must be a little bit hard to sort of really give that 150% like the New Zealanders are going to.
Don't fall into that trap, Maya. There's so many players in Australia fighting to be involved in this team. Every time you have an average or poor performance in the green and gold, that could be your last, regardless if you've been in a test series. So they really they won't be taking any game for granted here, the Australian women's. For the New Zealand girls, our wahine, I really like the way that they pressed in numbers defensively on the Australian yards and were able to get a few turnovers, and that kept them in the game in the first half yesterday, which was much better from day one. Kind of went off the boil in the second half, and Australia sealing the series already, but our wahine, our women from New Zealand, they need to fight hard right through the 40 minutes here and show that they belong in this battle, knowing that we do have a lot of debutantes, but they also can't take it for granted because this could be their last test as well.
I definitely am just super proud of the way our female team has played over the last two games. They've definitely given it their all. 9 debutantes, but you wouldn't have known it. And again, I think it's just that lack of fear that young people have these days. I just love the way they've come out, the confidence, the courage that they've had, and they've been led incredibly well by these two, Mania Wardby, Briar Hadfield. We've seen the Australian team come out and line up as we get ready for these national anthems, and we've seen our referees in the middle. We've got Alicia, a local hero, down here, as well as her other two counterparts in Zoe and Thomas Webster. They've performed really well. This has probably been quite easily the grade where there's had the least amount of penalties. Significantly, I would say less than half of what we've been seeing in the mixed and men's game. So these referees have done a great job of keeping these two teams apart, managed the 7 metres well. The communication's been really effective so that we've had really good game outcomes. And I have no doubt they'll continue to do that again. We see Pete McIntyre head down, just cruising out. So chill. He's done an amazing job with the rest of his coaching team, and Latoya, Tainui McIntyre and Elisa Ward. I reckon probably one of the hardest jobs and easiest jobs at the same time, Reece, must be to coach the Australian team. The record that they have, the history that they have, you could never let that down as we hear the Australian national anthem.
Mihi ana ki ngā wahine o Aotearoa, Ruia Taitia. The haka performed by the New Zealand wahine woman signifies mana wahine and the fight against the stereotypes and adversities that women face. This haka embodies power, resilience, and the inner strength of being wahine, women. In essence, celebrates the power and worth of wahine, not only in society, fighting for parity with males, but also wahine in sport, excelling to the ultimate level which these women have now met. It's a great rendition. They talk about power and resilience off the field. Now it's time for these New Zealand women to personify those words and those feelings performed in that haka on the 50x7.
Yeah, beautiful haka there from the New Zealand Open women's team. We're reminded once again, Reece, that touch really is the vehicle. It's not the be-all and end-all, it's not the whole purpose, but the vehicle in which many of these things you get an opportunity, first on Friday with Anzac Day, a chance, a moment to pay our respects and reflect on those who have gone before and the freedoms that we have. We see the national anthems being sung again, remembering who it is and why it is we're here today, and then to see that haka performed and the kaupapa within that haka, Reece, powerful, particularly in the world that we're in at this time. It's great to see that this sport of touch provides that opportunity, that platform for these amazing women to come out here and demonstrate, articulate, show us just how incredible they are as physical specimens and intelligent touch players, and the skill that we've seen over the last 2 days. We're excited about what we're going to see again here today. New Zealand team, key players for me, Shani, Valiga. We also know that Zadie, Sarah Baldwin, they need to be on the ball, right? You talked about it yesterday, all game, harping on about it. They need to get to the middle of the field and they need to get into that end goal. More 33 picks, etc., that type of stuff. The same needs to happen today, doesn't it, Reece?
Well, that's right. And with the speed that they've been blessed with, maybe go slightly away from the passing game and just look to use their best asset, which is their footwork and their ability to scoop off the deck. Unsure of the coaching game plan, but from what I've seen, that's definitely where they've been a lot more benefit. And here we go. We're in our third test of the Women's Anzac Touch Series, Game 3.
One of the players for Australia, for me, Lucia Fildes. She's been excellent in the first 2 games, strong player. You see her setting things up a lot. We'll see it again here. She comes on to that 33 dump. They go out to this right-hand side. Good start from Australia. Well done, New Zealand. Defensively had things in hand.
Yeah, as Australia look to launch off their last touch there, feeding the late sweeper. Great touch by New Zealand. Both the link and the middles were there in defence. A little bit ginger.
He didn't
on the ground here.
Didn't quite see what happened.
Bryce it is, who's gone down. Not too sure if she's taken a bit of a head knock here. Didn't see anything on the touch. Maybe it might a little bit be in contact with the ground. She goes out the back of the end goal. Hopefully she's okay.
See here in the replay just what might have happened. She comes back door. She goes under. Yeah, may have just got a glancing knee blow there from the New Zealand player. Bailey McDowell, New Zealand though, straight into their flow. Kimura now into this one. Wardby goes long. Oh, Forward pass, it looks like, or touch and pass. Referee calls, yes, touch and pass. Pretty good set there from New Zealand though, Reece.
Yep, that's 1 from 1, completed set. Coach McIntyre and will be happy with the way that they completed that set, not the struck that they wanted off the back, but there you go, Australia. Good to see New Zealand lifting in numbers on defence as they did yesterday. Shani there lifting well, picking up her attacking player. Late switch, draw feed. New Zealand claiming a touch.
Yeah, it was late to call that touch, was Valila, and when she finally got to it, the referees had to come back to it. I thought they were going to play through that, so good work there again from New Zealand. It really is the middle of the field. That was a short 7. It was in the middle of the field, that's where the battle is. New Zealand got parity for 30 minutes of that game yesterday. Koiataro Edwards, great to see her out again here. Second test, as you talked about, 16 years old. It's amazing. Sarah Baldwin, does she get it out? No, another forward pass.
Yeah, forward pass out of the hands, but Sarah Baldwin going back to her right hand. Threat with the speed and then opened it up. Not sure if the New Zealand winger knew that that ball was coming, but forward pass anyway. Completed set again, 2 from 2 from both sides here. Early battle on our hands, Maya.
Lifting 2 up again. New Zealand, really good. They need to keep this going so Australia can't get around them. There might be the 5th touch there. No, 4th touch, 2 to go. Just can't roll on that 5th touch. Need to have a strong platform to shut them down here on the last one. Well done in Australia. Just happy to finish in this corner. Smart play again. They always play the 40-minute game, don't they, Reece?
Yeah, that's right. But a completed set, as you said. And here go New Zealand, touch 2, still looking to get the ball across the field. Sarah Baldwin, great for late footwork, good ball position. Driving forward, Australia with good press defence here. Last touch coming up, looking for a drive. Here goes Shani, hits the short. Completed set off last, even though it was a mistake.
She's really solid in the rucking, isn't she, McDowell? We've seen her come on there. Auckland player.
Yeah, knows her role, but as you can see, Maya, and this has been consistent through all the teams, although there's a mistake, the first mistake from Australia, they just drive the ball through the middle of the field.
She's just really assertive, isn't she, Shani? She's a competitor. One of the best in game 1.
She won't be afraid of these Australian girls coming out of the Gold Coast Touch Association. Would have played with many of these players and against them at club level. And here we go. Good to see Kemara in there. Looking for a sweep. Early give on the short side. Looking for a dive. Good defence again there by Files.
I'm thinking you've got some contract with the Gold Coast Touch Club there, and every time you throw them out, then get a bit of putia, is it?
No, not paid, but many of our Canterbury players that brought me into the sport live over there, and a couple of them are life members, but it's always good to give them a shout out and so I don't get bombarded online. But Australia turn the ball over again, relatively easy. There's another Gold Coast player coming in there without dropping them in too much. Australia just warming into their work here. Good defence there by Stanton. Looks like she's going to play a solo wing here in this first half.
I think she's played the solo wing in all the games so far, so what an effort it is from her. Just needs to come up, back flick, gets it off. Can we get out there? Fantastic touch made. Tell you what a back flick there from Australia.
Great effort from McIntosh there to get out there and make that touch. Good defence in the middle of the field. Really liking the way that our New Zealand girls are nice and compressed on defence, making Australia pass the ball as they work over halfway now. Subbers get on nice and early. Shani Vilili coming in on the ball, driving on last. Sarah Baldwin looking for her right hand again. Beautiful pass again. Forward out of the hands again. Completed set.
Do you think they don't scoop through, Reece, because they're just not seeing that picture in front of them? Do they actually need to have a crack at it to know if that option is on or not? Or do you think the game plan is to throw out wide?
Sometimes it could be on the way that the ball's planted, the platform she's getting, but would like to see her use her feet closer to the line. Not quite getting the 7 doesn't help as well. Really want to be scooping bang on the 7. It's a 7-metre line on the attacking line there. If you're new to the game here, Whānau, as Australia keep continuing to go back to their work. Driving from the middle of the field. Sweeper coming around, check back to the short side. Ball's gone down. Another good defensive set from New Zealand.
They need to clean that up. The refs have seen that happen a little bit in the previous game. The ball must be returned. We see it when the ball doesn't get returned, like 2 blades of grass away. We blow penalties for not giving it back. Well, I think those times are even more important. But New Zealand, and Crombie in particular, strongest part of her game, fumbled it in the roll ball.
Yeah, New Zealand's first mistake on yards. 6.5 minutes into this first half. Well played by New Zealand so far. New Zealand, Australia, it's 0-0. It's the set completion that are allowing New Zealand to stay in this one early on in the game. Good press defence again by Stanton. New Zealand lifting well. This is how they started the game yesterday. They've just got to stay in the fight here. Australia looking to set the ball up. Mai on the ball, scoops the short side, good footwork, looks to the left hand, hits the winger, check back in. Australia will look to kill the ball here. Set completed by Australia, good defence again by New Zealand. Commentators curse Maya.
I'm glad it's been you more often than not this weekend rather than not. Australia with their best opportunity of this game to put the first touchdown on the board. Fresh set of 6. Filed here now with the ball. Thought she's going to go low. That was an excellent lift there from the winger. Stanton, she's having an outstanding series so far. Sammy Stanton.
Yeah, she's been playing really well. Great condition. New Zealand driving the ball in the middle there. Now looking to get to the sub-box. Good lift defence from Australia here. This is touch 4. New Zealand still not making the halfway line. Going to have to scoop from long range. It's a good drive there. Last touch option. Kemera looking to use her footwork.
Good completion. Probably made that set relatively easy for Australia, right, in terms of every time they went across, it was a new set of defenders that Australia was sending up. So weren't quite putting the pressure on the same defenders. Referee does call that a border ground. It was on the tips of her fingers. She was hoping that the touch was going to happen first. Here's now New Zealand's best opportunity. Strong drive so far. Third touch. Crombie sends it into the middle. Zadie here, the number 10 for New Zealand, just waiting for more troops to come on. She's joined by Murphy. Murphy set things up. Baldwin fakes going short side. Comes back to this left. Gets in goal. Short side might have been the option that time, Reece.
Yeah, short side, but what I did like is that she looked to fake the pass and looked to use the feet. She had been setting it up early in the game, as you said, could be an option. So maybe next time she'll look to go to that short side. Just sussing up the Australian defence at the moment. Here go Australia. Just rolling through the emotions on their yards, getting a good latch. Looking to check off in the middle. Check to the link again. Good defence by the New Zealand winger, shutting that play down. Last touch option here, looking to run.
Charlie Sinclair, she had to come in. She was sort of in two frames of mind. But she come in, made the right decision. Well done, the New Zealand winger, number 7. Now New Zealand, what can they do? Oh, nice little extra pass. That one, not sure. The ticks and the crosses. There's a lot of ticks to start this one with, Reece. There's a few more crosses happening on that spreadsheet you got going there.
Yeah, what I've noticed is Australia have been very obviously finishing the ball on the right-hand side here, away from the New Zealand's box, and they've been able to press a couple of times, which has restricted New Zealand's field position. There they try to check it off so they can get to the other side of the field and unfortunately make a mistake. Maybe one check too much as Australia look to create something on the far side link there from your screen. Splitting in. Sweeper comes to the short side.
I think one thing about this New Zealand women's team is they need to back their physical preparation. They are absolutely fit and fast, and I think they can back themselves and do an away set or maybe go up the middle first before they go to the sub-box. Like we've both said, they've just made it a little bit easy on those exit sets when they've had to come from this Australian box side. That's a fantastic yard. We see there Wardbury now. Unfortunately, players not running in the lines that they need to. Made it easy for the defender. Good outcome, though, from New Zealand. Handed the ball over, down on the 7-metre line.
That's exactly what you're talking about, what Australia have just done there, driving through the middle, although they make a mistake. That's 4 mistakes in the last 5 sets from Australia, whether it be on attack or yardage. New Zealand need to take an opportunity here. It's still 0-0. Gee, they've been in the battle here, Maya. Into the 12th minute. Oh, that's unfortunate there with a little bobble.
Yeah, again, we've seen a couple of those scenarios that we just wouldn't expect to see at this level of the game. New Zealand had a great, Australia definitely want New Zealand to have an opportunity to put the first touchdown on the board. Uncharacteristic from Australia, normally so accurate. It's the right person to have out here. Leela Hadfield now, what are they looking to do? Fake the wrap. No, they do go the short side. Goes under. Nice touch there from the 9. Demi Ashurst, one of the debutants for this Australian team.
Yeah, Valila needs to get on the ball here. Comes in on the short, looking to promote the link. Winger for Australia comes in, makes a great touch. Another player down, a little bit ginger there for Australia. Looks like Semi-Joe Curtis there. He's picked up a little bit of an injury. Penalty to New Zealand. New Zealand attack, looking to attack near down that link channel. Like the energy coming out of the New Zealand woman. Looking to draw Australia up. Splits infield. Looks for the long ball off the right hand.
Yeah, well touched there from the number 3, Olivia Goodsell. Nice pass, but Goodsell hit that one, covered. New Zealand, though, with their attacks. A little bit of lateral movement in this defence. Australia going back. They probably deserve to be able to get a penalty here. New Zealand, they're smart. They'll just sit outside the 7 metres.
New Zealand looking to attack here. Here comes Sarah Baldwin. Feed her early. Got a good dive. Couldn't get it in her hands. New Zealand had created a good opportunity there. The head goes back a little. Sarah Baldwin, I think she realises that there could have been an opportunity, but it's great to see New Zealand women lifting in numbers on defence. Good strong touch from Sarah Baldwin. Gets the ball back for her country. Demands the ball.
They're here to play, aren't they, Reece? Every team's here to play, but this New Zealand Open Women's team, the confidence, it's growing game by game. They played so well. The effort was 100% game 1. Game 2, that new game plan. And here we are, 13 minutes into this game. You don't keep Australian Open Women's team scoreless for 3 minutes, let alone 13. Will Baldwin be the first to cross in this game? Game 3.
Love the way that she's using her feet and her speed. She's really backing herself, growing into it. You wouldn't know this is her first campaign in the open grade. As New Zealand continue to attack. Split infield, looking for the right-hand long ball.
There it is.
Beautiful try. Stanton deserves the chocolates there. Solo wing all weekend. Holds her width. It's the split infield with the early give. And a beautiful right-hand spiral. Hits the winger on the chest. Great start from New Zealand. They've fought their way through this first half to take a lead 1-0 with 5 minutes to go.
They're walking the talk. They just performed a haka, which has such a strong message in it. And they are coming out here and articulating every part of that as this New Zealand Open Women's team. No fear. I cannot see an ounce of fear in this team. They're playing the best team to ever play the sport in this Australian Open Women's. And they are showing not only are they equal to it, but they're out here to take game 3. Struggled to get across the line yesterday, Reece. Coach McIntyre spoke about that briefly post-game. Nice defensive set again from New Zealand.
Yeah, I really like it when Kemara and Woodby are out there. Obviously been leaders in this women's side here, but they're really controlled and they're communicating well. We can hear them from our commentary box here as New Zealand drive the ball through the field again. They've been great in the orange zone. Would rather not see those check-offs. And as you can see, referee has penalised them. It's the first time that they've checked off on their yardage. Australia will look to strike back here. Down by 1. 4 and a bit minutes to go in this half.
As you've been talking, I've just been looking at this Australian sub-box and just composure. Clear instructions, simple words. They all know what they need to do. Files now. What does she do? Is that pass forward? Referee. Yes, the referees have got to the point where they have said it's forward.
Yeah, forward's the word of the box at the moment.
I tell you what, if they didn't get it from each other, they definitely got it from our director in the comms unit. He was making sure they knew that was forward.
Usually calm and composed, our director here, but definitely getting the message. Yep, and well agreed by the referees. They got the decision right. As New Zealand drive through the ball, they've been great through the orange zone, looking to come back off this right hand. Oh, they're creating opportunities out here on the left-hand side here, Maya.
We've seen a lot of those long balls to this left-hand side dropping a metre short. Is it a change of line? Does Stanton need to come in and almost run away from the pass?
Yep, start in tight, created the overlap. You start in and you work your way, the J-line as they call it in coaching and in playing. As Australia, they're really enjoying that check-off from the latch runner, driving into the middle. New Zealand on the back pedal here, scooping. Play through, says referee.
There's definitely a clear intention here from the referees to play away from penalties. And there's a number of times where you're like, oh, that should have been a penalty. But in terms of game flow, in terms of the fatigue into the game, I really love this approach from this group of 3 referees. And, of course, because I said there's no penalties, we have one straight away. You never really have an Australia team rattled, do you, Reece? But they won't like the fact they haven't been able to score a touchdown, I'd say, in 17 minutes. Well, 18 minutes coming up here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really, I've been keeping a close eye on the New Zealand sub-box and the way that the coaching staff are working great together. McIntyre taking teams out. That's Coach Pete McIntyre taking players out while plays. Latoya running the side. Would be on a dive. I'm impressed with the way that this New Zealand Wahine women's team are playing. They're making mistakes, but they're just leaving it where it is and going on to the next job. They're completing sets very well here. Percentages up.
Body language, they're up. They get back early. They're set for defence. They lift up with intent. Everything they're doing is with intent. They're not passive in any facet of this game. And again, the touching. We've talked about the touching and how the quality of the Australian team to how strong they are in the ruck. Well, this New Zealand women's team is just giving it right back and showing the way for our other teams. Doing a great job. Sausage here, the number 4. She had a strong effort yesterday. A player that, again, plays with purpose. She doesn't tend to just stand around. Hadfield, though. Belila, she'll get it back on this quickie. Go the right-hand side. Steps back.
Good defence from Australia there. Last touch.
Good tactic there from Hadfield. Taking it out of the playbook from the Australian Open Women's team, just finishing on this side and now really wanting to get that pressure going. Make the Australian team use. Oh, nice lift there. Shani, number 1 from New Zealand. 3rd touch, and they haven't even made the halfway. That's 4 there for Australia. New Zealand now need to be accurate. 5th touch. The box is yelling out 5.
Much better defensive effort. We saw that in the first 20 minutes yesterday about the press. These women are really personifying the words and their feelings of their haka here. Coming onto the ball with huge energy. New Zealand, where has this come from? Well connected in this 3rd game. Although it's a dead rubber, they're working really hard. This is who I want to see on the ball. Feed it back to her quickly as she splits away. Gets the ball live. Good dive. It's good attack. Draws the penalty.
Need to get the ball back and tap it. They will be able to tap it even if the hooter goes off. Time's up on the... There it is. Oh, they've been able to play on. Oh, that would have been interesting. There would have been a few comments made from this Australian box, but Reece, as we take a seat to take in what that 20 minutes has presented itself, a New Zealand team, they just lifted yesterday and we just wondered, could they go again? Well, not only could they go again, they've lifted even higher. They're up in this game 1-0, and that's fantastic. But for me to be able to hold an Australian Open women's team to no touchdowns in 20 minutes, I'm not sure that's been done before.
I've never seen it. I don't think I've seen it in any grade. I'm putting it down to the press on defence. Yesterday, in the first half, they were pressing in 2s and holding Australia, forcing mistakes on yards. Now, that's Australia's go-to, getting through the middle of the field. They were pressing in 2s. I just saw in the 19th minute New Zealand pressing 3 up each time. The energy, obviously the review and the plan has been put in place yesterday, Maya. The New Zealand women's in the second half went back to single lift. New Zealand need to keep that on if they're going to remain with the scoreline. Otherwise, Australia will get through the field too much.
I asked you a question at the start around Australia, mentally is it hard? And we know, of course, they're coming out here to win this game. They don't want to lose the game, but they particularly don't want to lose one to a New Zealand side. I'm thinking they're going to come out, and they're going to come out absolutely firing. With 20 minutes left to go, they will not be wanting to jump on the plane tomorrow with a defeat. Again, and it's historically probably that pressure in terms of going back and being that Australian Open women's team to lose the game to a New Zealand team. There hadn't been too many. I think the second half is going to be crazy. I think we're going to see Australia probably with 2 or 3 gears in the second half.
The way that just the close-ups of the New Zealand coaching staff there, I've never seen Pete McIntyre so animated in terms of what he's asking for the girls. And then Tainu McIntyre, using hand gestures and explaining to the girls there's plenty of ki wahi out there, sayings that you can say, don't poke the bear, don't fire up a dragon, all those kind of things. Australia are down 1-0. It's a rare occasion this happens. They will come out absolutely hissing this Australian women's team. New Zealand just need to continue what they're doing, and they've actually created a lot more opportunities on the scoreline, Maya, and New Zealand can just tidy up that attack a little bit more on the goal line. We could see a result here.
I think the best thing, and it's ironic, normally a good refereeing performance, there's 20 touchdowns in the game. I think these referees have been outstanding in letting the players play, keeping them back 7 metres, and the game flow and the fatigue that's going to have, we're going to see coming to the second half, has been as a result of that philosophy they've taken into this game. So New Zealand now with the first opportunity in the second half, up by 1, game 3. Australia already won the Test Series, but this is the most important game at the moment. Straight away, they draw another penalty. 9 debutantes, Reece, in this New Zealand team.
You wouldn't know it, Maya. They're playing great Kimura from dummy half. Valila splits in on the ball. Good footwork. Good defence, though, by Australia. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know that over half this team is playing their debut season for the Women's World Cup cycle. Man, they've got something going on here. No doubt it's the connection. Kimura again. Would-be splits in field. Looking for an early dive. Great defence by Australia there at the link channel.
One thing we haven't seen too often in these 3 games is phase dumps from the New Zealand team. I just wondered if that's an option that they can go to. Australia defensively really good. They seem to shut down that first phase. And if they can just be ready to go to that phase dump, play some second phase touch, they might catch them. It's a good start. They've camped down here for the first minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, excellent call there, Maya. Creating opportunities, not for that one touch, but the following one. Because Australia, they are corner shutting on defence really, really hard.
Here it is. We expected it, didn't we, Reece? And straight out of the box, 3 touches. They're into the 10-metre attacking end already. 4th touch now. They've got New Zealand backpedaling. Sipping over there was Garrett. Probably a timely intercept there just to allow New Zealand to get their defensive set.
Yep, 100% Maya. You're calling a couple of great games here at the moment. Just seeing what's out there and calling the plays. But Australia, you're right. They've come out that set of yards. New Zealand were flat-footed. Need to be better than that. And they've created an opportunity on defence. Good corner, good pre-touch profile by the New Zealand defender there.
Key set here. New Zealand just needs to be accurate.
You're hanging on the edge of your seat here, Maya. It's a 2-0 series win to Australia, but this is the New Zealand women's going toe-to-toe with an Australian women's with 9 debutantes as they continue to drive the ball down the other end of the field.
Yep, I wonder if they have an away set or just maybe up the middle. New Zealand, I'd love for them to try it. I think they could get a lot more momentum. Back their physicality, they are super fit. Probably one of the fittest teams we've seen in a long time, Reece.
Yeah, I even like the way that the New Zealand link there lifted off her line, well away from the play, but obviously sticking to the system. Last touch here, looking to take off. Great play again here from Stanton on the wing. She's really impressed me with her reads, her defensive reads, but also...
Strong touch from the Australian player. Got right in there, held the New Zealand attacker up. It's what you want to see. Stagnant now, unfortunately. Again, another strong touch. Last touch coming up here. Fifth touch, sorry. What can they do off this? Bradfield does the hurdles. Gets out to this right-hand side and nearly created something out of nothing.
Yeah, really impressed with this. You can hear the Australian defence. The communication is critical. Usually when you're out of condition, communication's the first thing to go. But obviously with the Australian women's side, they won't be feeling any pressure here. There's no pressure on the series on their shoulders, but no, they got pride in their singlet and they'll want to fight back here. New Zealand just a little bit on their heels. As you can see, single defender comes up again. Heavy touch, but the referees are allowing this to go. Great refereeing there by Rauti.
It was, because it wasn't a heavy touch. The player was just unbalanced. Did Hadfield get there? Hadfield saying she did. Stretched out dive. You wouldn't expect anything less from a captain. Hadfield and Wardby have absolutely led this team from the front. Their commitment has been top-notch. Nice drive. Garrett, I think that was. Here we now, Sausage, again getting forward. She's strong in the roll ball. Wardby on, one of the co-captains, back to the middle. Here is Kimura and Wardby. Wardby steps off her right. Going short, drawing pass. Oh, she was played through there too. Excellent set from New Zealand.
Completed set, Maya, once again. New Zealand are in this battle. I can look over at the Australian box here and they are taking nothing for granted here. They know they're in a battle. New Zealand working hard. Stanton's been great on this right edge near to the screen. Referee Rauti has been flawless in her performance this weekend. It's a different tune than I'm usually saying from the sub box. Sure, she'll appreciate that as Australia rolling. Beautiful drive there by Australia, scooping out a half. Gets into the in goal. Checks it off there. Beautiful attack. And it comes off the back of great work through the orange zone, Australia. They go back to their bread and butter. Here it is here in the replay. Gets into the in goal. A little bit of miscommunication there from New Zealand. Great catch, dive, and Australia square this one up, 1-1.
It was the second touch there where New Zealand got broken down and they just couldn't recover, unfortunately. Just backpedaling the whole way. 25 minutes it's taken this Australian Open women's team to score. McDowell now trying to create numbers on the left-hand side. Fildes, though, gets up and makes the touch. Wheeler in the middle. What can she come up with? Just slow coming on to that ball. One touch to go.
This game's been played in great spirit between these two nations. As New Zealand dumped the ball out onto the far side there. Great coaching.
They have to get it right here. They have to come up and stop this. This is the touch where Australia's been getting on the outside of this New Zealand team. Look how smart they are, just going back to the New Zealand sub-box. Third touch. They back their physicality. They're happy to go 60 minutes if they need to. New Zealand need to get forward. Just starting to roll. Last touch now. Fildes goes back to the short side. New Zealand lucky there. It seems to be when they're getting broken down, then they're just going off, you know, what the structure is in terms of people who should be mirroring are trying to make the shot. But again, it's the Australian onslaught through the middle of the field.
Yeah, you called it, Maya, when they get a good roll on and they get a good strike off the back end of the set. New Zealand are backpedaling and they're getting a bit caught. The communication isn't quite there. Static defence, they're fine. They've just got to really continue to lift. Penalty there to New Zealand.
That's unlucky, Australia. That's a good touching position by the defender. New Zealand are just running straight into almost like a car crash when they're planting the ball. They're allowing the legs, the feet of the Australian defenders to get in the roll ball. Lucky to get one there. Edwards, not seen her too much in the second half. I'd love her to have an attack.
New Zealand looking to create an opportunity. Good defence in the lane there by the Australian link defender. Unable to maintain the ball. New Zealand get another recount. Looking to burn a touch here. with a quickie play. Great defense again by Australia. Yep.
It's that speed. It's electric, right? Sausage, you don't want to give her an inch. She nearly scored one that she had no right to.
Shalila here.
Weird setup. If that was what it was supposed to be, going to this left. Crombie, though, need a stronger dump in here. Goes back to that right-hand short side. Tries to get inside. She does now. Now needs to link up. Crombie, but again, another situation where in the in goal, Australia scrambled so well.
That's right, Maya, but on the attacking side of things, great to see New Zealand in the in goal, using their ability with their footwork and their speed. Got to continue to do that. Stay away from the passing game. Really work these Australian girls. They're in a battle here, 1-1. New Zealand pressing again well.
Here's the
They're there and up. Good, strong touch there by New Zealand. Woodby comes up, promotes herself. Defence looking to set. Woodby dominating the defence as well. Kemara on the shut defence. Good play. That's what you want. It's a foot race to the corner.
What a pass. That is an exceptional pass there from the Australian player. Didn't quite grab the number. We'll see it here in the replay. Left to right. We've been talking about these 35-metre bullets from the mixed boys. Couldn't dive there from the 16. McIntosh and gets across. Rachel Welsh, one of the players that you've really rated in this Australian women's team, Reece.
Yep, she's been my player of the series so far for Australia, these women's teams. It's still 2-1 now. Nothing wrong with the defence set up there from the New Zealand women's. Just the winger maybe just a little too tight. As New Zealand syrup, really like the way that they're looking to go to their go-to players. They've really had the right girls on the right plays, New Zealand, and that's why we're at a 2-1 deficit here. Oh, just a little bit lackadaisical there maybe. Intensity went out of that set of 6. Australia, good on defence. I want to really see New Zealand press defence here. That's what's kept them in this test.
It needs to be to the point where there's some type of call made where if they're beaten, they just come up and smash them in the ruck. Well, not smash them in the ruck, but give away a hard touch so they can reset themselves. A little bit like that, because it's 50-50. You might get away with it, but at least it gives your team an opportunity. But this Australian team, unfortunately, it's looking more like game 1, isn't it? The second half, where they've obviously just switched it into 4th gear, the Australian team. It's put the New Zealand team under a lot more pressure defensively, and they haven't been able to send their 2 players forward. They're just constantly in a backwards motion.
Attack coming from the link here, looking for the quickie play. See a ball in there.
Well defended from Bailey McDowell.
Yeah, trying to dive in on the shut defender there. Up to the task, Sarah Baldwin. New Zealand rolling back to the goal line. Allowed to get away with it. Another good defence. No, not allowed to get away with it. Referee too sharp for me there.
Just playing advantage, and that's been the great thing about this team of referees, the amount of advantage that they've been allowed to play.
Another quickie play at the link, looking to get the shut defender in the middle. New Zealand up to the task once again, working well this combination.
Cheyenne Murphy, she needs to be a lot tighter there. I thought they were going to step back inside Sausage and get one there. Lucky she was able to defend it. What did we see there, Reece? What was the breakdown in the defence? And allowed Australia to get across to that one.
Yeah, smart attack from Australia as I run you through this replay. Sweeper came around. Link came in on the shot, off her woman attacker there. Link defender came in, which drew our winger in. And unfortunately for New Zealand, Australia kick away to a 3-1 lead.
If you're going to shut, the attacker has to catch the ball and the defender at the same time, don't they?
Yeah, you've got to be there. You can't be reactive. You talked about that on day 1. You've got to be proactive and read the play, but unfortunately for New Zealand. But here they go. They've got a chance to hit back now. Little wee step back. Australia played at that ball. No. Referee Oates, he says, that's fine. Ball to ground.
Love to see them just bring a couple of phase dumps into their attack. Australia seem to have it comfortably sorted on the first touch. Now just getting on the outside. Was a touch made? No, it wasn't. And look, we've really just seen the quality of this Australian team, haven't they? They weren't able to get across. New Zealand threw everything at them in that first half. but they just come out in the second half, changed gears, and they've taken it to a speed that unfortunately the New Zealand team haven't quite been able to match it with them. I think the compounding concern is, Reece, is that we've still had a heap of opportunities to score. We've had a heap of opportunities down on the attacking line, and because we aren't converting, that's why that score line's getting away.
Yeah, that's right. New Zealand need to be complete and get the ball down as much as possible. Australia's completion rate has definitely lifted in the second half to get themselves back into this game. 4 unanswered tries to New Zealand, and that was an away set. You talked about it in the previous game, Maya, as a surprise tactic. Australia are almost using it on every. They're just going straight back to the well. As they drive the ball on the other side of the field, this set of 6, they're not even subbing, Maya. These girls are in top physical condition as New Zealand try to halt their progress, but Australia just rolling down the field here, feed the splitter. Just looking to complete the set here, Australia. Still with a touch up their sleeve. Kemara looking to make the touch. Would-be working hard. Great defence from Stanton.
That away set, and they're doing it and doing really effective with it. It's almost like not giving the fingers to the New Zealand team, but going, yep, cool, you defended us for the first 20. Well, not only are we going to go up a few gears, we're actually going to go the away set back to back.
They've got multiple options up their sleeve, and very rarely will a touch team have 4, 5, 6 different packages in terms of getting through the orange zone. But this Australian women's team, it's credit to their coaching staff and their planning and execution that they can put these systems in place, and they're just rolling them out at will. They were down 1-0 at half-time, and they've just worked their way into a commanding position through much better set completions, having scored the last 4 tries. They're playing really well, and they've turned the ball over there, which is their first mistake in a long time. New Zealand need to capitalise here with 5 to go. They must score from the set of 6.
Oh, you get put on report in the NRL for that.
Direct contact to the head. Here we go. New Zealand looking to check the ball off. Rather just see a lot more speed on the ball. That's when the New Zealand women are a lot more effective. Right person here, number 10, Sarah Bowman, demanding the ball. Feeds Valila. Good defence by the link defender there by Australia. As you can see, the communication just straight into what yards they're going to use. They're going to drive forward.
Again, they're going down the middle this time, sort of on the New Zealand side of halfway. They just back their physicality, don't they? Seen it in the national anthem, just such a fit-looking team. But New Zealand, they are not throwing in the towel. Continue to empty the tank here. Now chasing across to this right-hand side. Stanton, she stopped 20 tries. That's the 21st. I tell you what, she spent more time diving, sliding along the ground that she has on her feet. She's had an amazing series.
Look, you never want to put yourself a little YouTube package together, but right in front of the cameraman and the photographers, Stanton's been outstanding in her defence. Definitely up there with one of my players of the series so far as New Zealand look to go off the deck. This is good to see. No play-through call. Australia back on side on that last touch. But love seeing this running from New Zealand, though.
Just the difference in the transitions, isn't it, Reece? New Zealand again going across the box, having to spend 4 touches just to get to that sub-box. That was a relatively straight pass, that one. Australia, though, 2 touches to the box, now straight back to the middle. This is where they start to go straight down Main Street. Nice touch there. Oh, unlucky. Maybe an offside call.
I was just going to say, Maya, these referees have been outstanding in keeping these teams apart and just letting the play flow. So credit to them. As Australia here, they look to attack. It's the 32 Peel. Long ball over the top. Now they're just expressing themselves, these Australian women's. Beautiful play here, Maya. As they set the platform with an early release on the Peel. Great chop from the link attacker to open up the outside, drawing the New Zealand winger in, and flicks it over the top out of the right hand. Perfect pass, and the winger plants the ball over the line for a 5-1 lead to take Australia without doubt, to a 3-0 series win here in Ōtautahi Christchurch.
While that's likely to be the case, what I loved in that first game from the New Zealand team, even when the game was out of reach then, they just kept on playing, never put the cue in the rack. I just love the way they just keep going at it and at it, every single touch. They move on so quickly from what has happened into the next phase of the game. Again, attack. Look at this tack. Does she get on the outside? Throws back. There it is, the Kiwi team, the Kiwi spirit that is in this women's team. They're still believing, Reece.
They are. Not how this play is meant to be designed. It's the quickie on the link, the step back. The second shutter there gets beaten by the New Zealand pass. Usually you're just trying to beat that first shut defender, the right side middle there, but they got the left side middle as well. Yep, Australia nice and compressed. Beautiful pass there. Great work.
But I think Australia have been really compressed because they know that New Zealand are only throwing one phase at them. And that's why if they did set up for that second phase, they would have had, I would imagine, so much more opportunities. But Australia, they're putting 4 players where there'd normally only be 3 down on that defensive line. Excellent set there from New Zealand defensively. A minute to go. This will be the last set of the game for this New Zealand team, who have played with extreme pride and talent. Been the standout for me, Reece. The way that they've played, the way that they've grown throughout this tournament. 9 debutantes. You just simply would not know that at all when you think about key players to return.
That's right, Maya. These women have really stood strong right from day one. They're inexperienced at this level, but man, they're playing some great international touch here. Really hope that the New Zealand coaching crew here remain in place. They've done great work with this relatively new team and been 3 years away from a World Cup. The potential of this women's side is immense. They've done themselves proud, Maya. I know it's a 5-2 defeat and 3-0 series finish for New Zealand, but these New Zealand women, they can hold their head high. Conversely, well done to the Australian Open women's side. They've got some debutantes at the Open level as well. They've deserved their series win, Maya.
When we're talking so glowingly of a team that have lost 3-0, you know the team that have won 3-0 are just exceptional. We've seen that first half in this game, held scoreless, but come out in that second half and literally just went through the gears and probably didn't get to 6th gear there. And again, that's the talent, that's the pool of players that the Australian have, but more importantly, it's the standards and expectations that when you put that singlet on in that team, the Open Women's, that's what is required. That is I would say one of the most competitive Women's Open Trans Tasman Series we've seen in a long time. Both teams have absolutely brought it. I have no doubt everyone watching the 3 games that these ladies have put on for us have been absolutely thrilled. Opportunity there for New Zealand. That's great to see. They had the opportunity. So often we're chasing the game. So proud of the Kiwi team and what they've achieved, and a massive congratulations to Australia. The juggernaut, which is the Open Women's, continues to march on and put another gold medal, another shield, Trans Tasman Open Women's shield up on the wall. 5-2 victors, 11:20 our next one. Don't go too far, where we see the final game for the 2025 Trans Tasman Test Series.